What's up, Internet? Today we're going to talk about repurposing shipping containers as houses. Repurposing shipping containers as houses, I think, is a really good option whenever you're trying to build a small house, and it is also ideal for B&Bs or weekend houses. When I look at shipping containers, I already see some sort of structure. It is rigid, it can protect you from weather, it can withstand storms, it is made of really good kind of metal, it is capable of resisting corrosion. You can also stack them without the need of constructing concrete columns and beams. But of course, please consult your civil structural engineer whenever you plan on stacking them. So when you consider it as your main structure, you can really save a lot of time from a construction standpoint. Though the amount of space inside is very limited, it is not a deal breaker since we can manipulate space. So if I were to build a small house out of shipping containers, I would arrange them apart from each other in such a way that the spaces between them will serve as the common areas. Spaces like the living area and the dining area. The bedrooms, the bathroom, the kitchen, the pantry, and other spaces that needs isolation, I would place them inside the container vans. In doing so, you will have the control over the amount of space you allocate for your living and dining area. But it would also depend on how big your lot is. One of the disadvantages also that I consider a really big factor is the fact that in real time, you will really feel the heat of the sun inside if it is laid bare, exposed to the sun without shade. And I noticed that this is true to some of the container vans here in the Philippines. As we all know, the shipping container is made entirely of metal, and metals are really good conductors of heat. When the sun rays hit the surface of the container van, the heat will eventually radiate inside. This is usually advantageous to places with much cooler temperatures. But to us in the tropics, it is the other way around. So we can't really just go and copy house designs from all over the world. We have to understand that there are certain conditions that we should follow whenever we design our homes. And since we have hot and humid climate throughout the year, we need cooler temperatures inside our houses to achieve a certain level of comfort. So how do we make it comfortable enough that we can consider living inside of it? Like I said earlier, since I want the vans spaced out apart from each other, the spaces between them would need a roof. But aside from the fact that these spaces need a roof, I also want the container vans covered to isolate them from the sun. That way, they will not be able to conduct and radiate heat inside because of sun exposure. Also, I would elevate the roof structure just enough to have an air gap between the container vans and the roof. The air gap allows moving air to flow through. The moving air disperses and avoids the accumulation of hot air underneath the exposed roof. The separation of the roof structure and the container vans allows air to move freely because of the openings. We also have to protect the sides of the vans from low-angle sun rays. Some would apply some sort of secondary skin to reduce the amount of sun rays hitting the surface of the container van. Some would prefer to install various kinds of cladding, Some would prefer trellises, but personally I would prefer to extend the roof a little bit further from the wall to extend shade. Canopies also would be a good option. Roof extensions and canopies will allow me to install larger openings such as windows and sliding doors without the risk of heat gain in the interiors. Plus, I can use the covered portion as verandas or balconies. I can't recommend enough the inclusion of climate as a factor while designing our homes. These things does not only help you achieve a certain level of comfort, but it also helps you reduce energy costs. Many people today consider living in a tiny house. Repurposing shipping containers as houses is just one of many options, but this is the option that I would strongly consider. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you.